Hey train friends, welcome to the Ozark, Midland, and Southern Railway. I'm glad you're here. I want to start out by giving a big shout out to the channel subscribers. I appreciate your support and love your comments. The Atlantic type steam locomotive has a 442 wheel arrangement. It has a 4-wheel leading truck, 4 large drivers, and a 2-wheel trailing truck, sometimes referred to as a bogie. It helps support the locomotive's boiler and firebox. The Atlantics were built for primarily one thing, and that was for speed. And they became excellent locomotives for pulling the railroad's passenger trains. The Ashton, Topeka, and Santa Fe owned the greatest number of Atlantics, but perhaps the most famous were those built by the Milwaukee Road to pull their streamlined Hiawatha passenger trains. With their large drive wheels, they could travel up to 100 miles per hour. The Missouri Pacific had 40 Atlantics built by Alco Brooks. They were numbered 5501 to 5540. Number 5521, which is what my little locomotive's numbered for, was built in 1907. And it had 79-inch drivers. Now let's take a few moments to take a little closer look at Lionel's legacy model. So here's our locomotive. Starting at the front end, of course, you got your cow catcher, your dummy coupler. There's a little brake line there with a hose at the end of it. On the front of the smoke box, we have our headlight with number boards on either side and one on the front. Here's your classification marker lights, one on each side. They're bidirectional. You can change them to either, they come by default, they're green, but you can change them to white. Go back and forth if you want to, changing them. Here's our builder's plate. Here's the number boards on top of the boiler. Here's our stack. I'm not really sure what this item right here is or what it's for. If someone viewing this video knows and would like to put that in the comment describing or telling us what this is, I'd really appreciate it. Here's our bell. It does swing, but it's not what they refer to as a swinging bell. It's not automated. Manipulated by hand, but that's as far as she goes. There's a dome, a sand dome. Here's the poppet valves, the safety valve, and here's our little whistle. Now you did notice the little whistle moves. That's because it's actually removable. It's held on by a little magnet. See, there you go. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little magnet there on the end of this that holds the whistle in place. And it seems to do the job. I think they did that so that the operator can add smoke fluid. Now the locomotive actually comes with a little pipette, so you can use the little pipette, or I use a little funnel. You just drop my drops. I use a mega steam smoke fluid, the coal-fired steamer. It's a scent I like to use. You just drop them right in here, and and then replace the little whistle right in there. And there we go. While we're here talking about the whistle, let me show you that the bell and the whistle each come with 5 different tones. And let me see if I can't run through those real quick for you. Okay, we'll do the bell first. You just hit using your cab 2 remote, you hit the auxiliary 1 key. Then I push up on the bell slider. Okay. I think that's the one I like. We'll leave it there. Moving down to the whistle. I think that's the one I like. We'll go with this one. Note that next we come to the generator. In the cab, you've got a window on each side. You got windows on each side. You've got the fireman and the engineer on the other side. Peeking into the cab, you can see some modest detail. You see the flickering and glowing firebox. You see the gauges and the valve handles. They're nicely painted. I'm pleased with it. Looks good. I wanted to also mention that, speaking of the cab, we've got crew talk.
Yardmaster, clear to pull east. Over. Hold for signal indication. Dispatcher out.
And you've also got tower comm.
Gonna be running along if we don't move on soon. Train orders say holding the siding until 44 clears, then we can take the main. You should be through any minute.
On the tender, so another neat feature is the fact that this tender is a oil tender. Most of the tenders, I think all the other tenders in this particular offering of Atlantics by Lionel all had coal tenders. This one has an oil tender, which I think is pretty neat because it's authentic. This particular locomotive started out, I think all of Mopac's Atlantic started out as a coal fed, but ultimately I think this one, and I think the majority, if not all of them, were eventually converted to oil. So on top of the tender, you've got some handrails. I believe that's what they are. You've got this looks like the hatch to probably put in the fuel oil. Here on the back end, you have a little lid that opens. I'm not sure. There's nothing, in this. I'm not sure just what the purpose of the hatch lid is, but it's there. You've got classification marker lights on the back end. These are bidirectional as well. They can be either red or white. The controls for the locomotive are underneath the cab, and you have to turn the locomotive over to be able to access that. There's the run program switch, the smoke on and off, and Bluetooth on and off switch on the bottom there. So, also, if you were to turn the locomotive upside down, you see that there's electrical contact rollers, 2 of them. There's 2 here on the locomotive, as well as 2 here on the tender. The rear drivers each have a rubber traction tire on it to help with traction. It's a good thing. Although the locomotives weigh quite a bit, they're pretty heavy. Okay, well that's our brief rundown of the Atlantic. She's a good-looking locomotive, and I really am enjoying it. Well, this Atlantic, number 5521, is the pride of the OM&S steam locomotive roster and will be used for excursion services on the railroad. For that purpose, the OM&S has acquired some Williams Missouri Pacific passenger cars. So get on board and we'll take a ride around the railroad. All aboard! Well, train friends, I hope you have enjoyed the ride in my brief review of Lionel's new Atlantic 442. It is the railroad's third steam locomotive, and I am really enjoying it. I'm going to be taking some time to make some progress on the railroad, so when I come back I should have some real progress to share with you. Watch for updates on the channel's community page. So until we meet again on the O&S, do take care, and remember, the O&S is pulling for you. I'm Bill B. Bye now.